Well, here's a nice patch. This is what we've been looking for. And I think we're going to give them a little bit more time. This is a ghost plants. Many people know them as Indian pipes. And they're really, really gorgeous, I think. Was it Monotropa uniflora? And you dig up the whole plant, roots and all, or plants, and it's a mild sedative. The tincture is actually a very light velvet in color when it's done. But we're out scouting right now for ghost plants. I'll remember where this is. They really are beautiful when they come up, and this really is a nice patch. I would need to find several in order to make a good tincture with it. So we're going to leave these be and scout out some more. I found a really small edible mushroom called a beefsteak. And the reason being, if you cut it, it will secrete a red liquid. And I found some yellow chanterelles as well, and they'll be supper tonight. But very nice. I'm going to let these babies come out and we'll harvest later, providing that I find an abundance. Don't want to over harvest. It's really important. And here's another small clump of ghost plants just starting to come up. So I think in another week I'll be able to find enough to make a proper tincture. So what I'll probably do is keep scouting out, make mental notes of all the spots where I find these beauties, and then come back when enough of them are up, and then I'll harvest them all together. They're very fragile. They're almost like a mushroom. And pick them all at the same time and prepare the tincture right here in the field. They're that fragile. Well, here we are back in this rich, fertile woods, and we have a bunch of Indian pipes, I guess is the common name, but I've always called them ghost plants, but that's me. So we're in a nice area where a bunch have come up in pockets everywhere, and here's some that are pretty spent, and they're already starting to turn. Notice that they have already pollinated and are standing straight up, and there are groups of them in a nice patch here. So we'll go through here and harvest what is harvestable and leave the rest. So let's go over here. These are really cool looking. Now that is pretty as a picture. All right, ghost plants, Indian pipe, Monotropa uniflora, the genus and species. They're white. They don't produce chlorophyll, and I've heard mixed stories whether they're parasites or they have a symbiotic relationship. It's one or the other. Oops, sorry, but that's for sure. According to herbalist Patricia Howell, whom I might quote a few passages here briefly, said that they have a symbiosis relationship with molds and fungus. And you probably can't find this online. You can't grow them, so they have to be found in the wild and harvested. So it's a stimulant, excuse me, it's a sedative. It's a really strong sedative, actually. The Cherokee used to use it, and it's compatible to morphine. Imagine that. And they grow in a scaled singular stalk and terminate with one nodding flower. And that's pretty much it. You harvest the whole plant, roots and all, you rinse them well, And because they are so fragile, and they're like many mushroom species, one like the shaggy mane for Corporunus, they're so fragile, you pick them up, and when they're growing too, and we'll see many of them here that are turning, and they just turn black and this dissolve back into the soil when they are done. But this is really an awesome color. Look at these, they're almost pink here. And really the only way to prepare it, or the best way for sure, would be in a tincture. And the best way to do it is to prepare it on site. So we're really close to a lake, and I have been gathering for a while. So we're going to shoot a little video here of harvesting, and then we're going to go down by the lake and rinse them off real nice. You know, the roots have a lot of dirt in there, so we're going to try to get as much dirt. And I have various sized jars because I wasn't sure about the quantity that I was going to harvest today. So with that said, I have various sized jars, and we'll see where this will go. But I want to prepare them as soon as possible, and when they're done, and like all our tinctures, we'll jar it up and we'll put it in a dark cabinet, and every day we'll shake it a bit, and in 4 to 6 weeks we will strain the organic plant material, and we'll just have a pure tincture, and the color will be violet. And so I'm really excited about that. That's going to look really cool. But can you believe a sedative is equal to morphine? Now, I don't know if it's habit forming, and so we'll have to look into that. But yeah, let's get the tripod set up, and let's do some harvesting. Well, I was really hoping to conclude this video with some harvesting of ghost plants. This soil is a bit more sandy than where I was finding them really thick, really fertile soils deep in the forest here. We're really close to a lake now. And the soil's become a little bit more sandy, but there's a lot of roots in here that they could tap into for sure. And now the interesting thing about symbiosis and with fungi is that the famous mycologist Paul Stamens, I believe in his book he wrote Mycelium Running, made mention that, yeah, fungus, the mycelium of fungus, a mushroom, is just the fruiting body of something much larger that grows underneath a mycelium. It's usually a white, cottony, lacy looking mat, and that is the main orgasm. Oh. Wow, I'd say that would be a Freudian slip if he wasn't a fraud, but anyways, we'll let that roll. Oops-a-daisy moment there, but you know, the mycelium, the larger of the organism, taps into the root systems of trees and plants and cause a symbiotic relationship where they extend the chain, and the roots extend so far, and then they extend even further because of the mycelium attaching to it, and they share the whole ecosystem and feed each other. And they say the ghost plants, or Patricia Howell does anyways, and she wrote a fabulous book. By the way, I read it some time ago, Medicinal Plants of Southern Appalachians. I believe she is from the Midwest, maybe Illinois, since she moved to, I believe, North Carolina, and has been there for many decades now. And you look her up online. She speaks really well. She's got some great YouTube videos, and she wrote here. I'm going to read a little bit from this in a little bit, but let's continue with the harvesting here. And we want the roots and all, and it's really difficult to say the least. and they're really fragile, so we need to be careful. And we have, you know, harvested quite a few already, but we're going to do the whole tincturing in just a few moments here in the lake, because we need to wash. Oh dear. Alright. Sometimes harvesting can be really tedious, but there is no commercial method of growing the ghost plant. So any ghost plants that you're going to find as medicine will be harvested wild, and that's all there is to it. So there's not a real big market for it, and they say that you should maybe start with 40 drops, you know, and just kind of experiment with the dose until the pain goes away. More smaller doses are better than one large one, and you shouldn't use it for more than a month. I mean, this baby is strong, but it won't give you the drowsy side effects that a lot of painkillers will do. So, but caution is always the best policy, and use small amounts and see how your body reacts to it. But this could be the pain relief that you need. And as the great Michael Moore, such a great and wonderful herbalist from out west, would say, the herb you need just might be the herb you have. So when you're out in the wild, you know, you're limited to what's available in the biosphere, the ecosystem that you're in. So I'm not sure if these babies grow out west or not. I haven't read anything about that, the nature of that. But yeah, it's a little time consuming, the harvesting here, but it pays off. We'll just rinse that. And all this will be separated on the lake. What a treat. It's a beautiful lake. Lake Orenbach here. And we're on our way. Still uncertain until I clean them on what size jar to use. Now, I brought a few different sizes, just uncertain of how many I will find. So here, don't want to, you know, waste too much feed time, but let's read a little bit from Patricia Caritzi Howell. I probably didn't say that second name correctly, but you get the meaning of it anyways. I try. So let's start with her description. Indian pipe is a distinctive white semi-transparent perennial, a saprophytic plant that contains no chlorophyll. Indian pipe is unable to process sunlight. For nutrients, it relies on the symbiotic relationship with molds and other fungi found in the decaying leaf humus at the base of trees. This small plant, only 4 to 6 inches tall, consists of a scaled tube-like stalk that ends in a nodding, solitary white flower. It grows in clumps, and it looks like a cluster of small white pipes with their stems stuck into the ground. As the flower blooms between June and September, Indian pipe slowly straightens into the upright position, with the flower pointing eventually towards the sky. The flowers have no fragrance. After pollination, or if disturbed, Indian pipe turns black and dissolves. They like deeply shaded, moist woodlands, usually in acidic soil, beneath rhododendrons and mountain laurel. Well, we don't have either one here. And here she says, this plant was well known to be the Cherokee, the plant was well known to the, I'm sorry, I misread that. The Cherokee was well known to the Cherokee as a plant remedy of the highest order, she says, comparable to morphine. That's really incredible. The use of Indian pipe is limited due to the fragile nature of the plant itself and the lack of commercial sources. Indian pipe dulls the perception of pain without causing drowsiness. That is helpful. And to relieve specific types of pain, you know, and they say you can pair it with willow. We know willow, aspirin, and antispasmodics. They say black cohosh. And that's another plant. Actually, grows out west too. That's a very, very great plant that we'll be discussing later in another video. So there are no known methods for cultivating Indian pipe. All plants are gathered from the wild because its native habitat is dwindling. The use of Indian pipe is limited to small-scale use by individuals with access to sites like us. So thank you, Patricia. And we're going to commence some more harvesting. And here these babies have seen better days. And you can see down below there's some down there that are already turned black. So I'm going to filter through this whole group here, and then we'll get to processing. Well, I guess I should have worn my shorts and sandals, but oh well. We have a pretty nice collection here. I was doing a lot of washing because it's very time consuming, and one thing I try to do and not go on and make long running, well, I make really long videos, but long running empty videos that are not entertaining. So by bearing with me, it's really cool that they float. And so that has been helpful in preparing my, want to get that beautiful violet color, but how much roots do I use? And usually when I strain out the marc, M-A-R-C, which is the remaining spent vegetative material, when it's all done, and most, you know, unless you're using flowers, most tinctures are green, or some shade of green, because of the chlorophyll in the leaves that we use often. And often I will strain out the marc with just a bandana. But I'm afraid on this one here, we're going to have to do a second filtering. Thought I felt something. There are fish swimming all around me, but I just don't want a snapping turtle to, you know, think I'm lunch. One of my little toes being a piece of bait or something. So I'm really torn between this as far as how much root material. It seems like I have much more of above ground, I should say, material, and it looks like we're going to get away. As we know, you know, we can really stuff a lot in a jar. So I think, and surprisingly, I'm happy that we're going to be able to use the larger jar that I brought. Wow, there's a lot of ghost plants, and like I said, I sure would love to see that violet tincture, but oh goodness, there's a lot of plant material here. Wow. And it's really early in the season. They're just, as you noticed there, they're just starting to come up. And so there are plenty out there. I'm sure that, you know, they're all under the leaf litter, and we've probably walked past hundreds of clumps, actually. Like I said, I'm really uncertain about this. Oh, good grief. We might have to use a second jar. This is really exciting, but we will stuff as much. And this is going to give us, once again, a 2-to-1 ratio. This is going to be really potent, no doubt about it. Yeah, we're going to use a second jar, no doubt. Good thing I brought. This is it's from Polish. It's from Poland, I should say. But it's a pure grain alcohol. In America, we have a pure grain alcohol. It goes by Everclear. You can buy it pretty much all over the country, but California, I believe. And wow, and really, it looks like that's about all I can fit. Most of y'all know me from my backpacking videos. And in my backpacking videos, I'm pretty much skinny as a stick, I would say, right? But I've been home, and so I've been weight training, you know, getting in shape. Or I'm always in shape, but you know what I mean, just a little something extra. Good grief. Yeah. Well, like I said, we have plenty of jars. Plenty of jars. Oh, this is so awesome. And like I said, this could be the pain relief that you need. But yeah, I'm definitely going to run this baby through a coffee filter. Yeah, every year I go backpacking, I usually start off the trail around 225, 230. Usually when I get off the trail, I'm down to 180. That's like my high school weight, which is, well, here we go. That's it. We're going to do another one here and take it home. I think we could have probably got away with preparing it. Would have used a lot of water though in my camper to clean them out. So we're going to go ahead and do that, pack things up, and go home. Well, here we are with the final shake. Now we have been shaking this ghost plant, the Indian pipe, Monotropa uniflora, for the last 5 weeks, probably more like 6. And this is the final stage where we will separate the organic plant material and we will strain it, pardon me, and bottle the final preparation, the bottling. And just so happened to get a tickle in my throat at the same time. How unexpected, but hopefully it'll pass. So this ghost plant is a really, really powerful painkiller. And years ago, they actually thought of using it and replacing the opiates like morphine. It's that strong. So it's an antispasmodic. Sedative, painkiller. It could be all you need to find comfort. So it's really going to make a really gorgeous, gorgeous violet color. And it doesn't seem that we have all the liquid that I thought we would have on this, but I really packed it really tightly with the ghost plant. So we have a 1-to-2 ratio here, and so this is a really strong medicine. So I would suggest using, for extreme pain, 30 to 40 drops every half hour till the pain breaks, till you break that pain barrier. And then, wow. I thought it was going to make a whole lot more of this, but wow, it's really bulky. Decided to do this outdoors. It's quite hot. It's going to be about 90 degrees today. But a high humidity here in the Northeast. So as we're finalizing these last preparations here, I have a few friends that are looking forward to trying this out that have chronic pains, and so it'll be interesting to see how well it works out for them. As you remember, when we were harvesting this, there's really, the ghost plants are a ghostly white. And here's the big root balls. You have to collect it with the roots. A lot of medicine in the roots on this plant. And yes, it is a parasite, and it taps into the symbiotic relationship that fungus and trees and plants share. The mycelium of the fungus attach to the roots and extend the reach of trees and plants. And the ghost plant, like other parasites, tap into that. And a study was found by using radioactive CO2 and isolating it into the tree. They were able to trace the energies back through the roots into the mycelium and into the ghost plant. Alright, well, like I said, I thought this would yield a bit more. I picked up a funnel as we were preparing some last month. Had to use a piece of rolled up paper. Didn't have an adequate funnel. So here we go. It really is amazing compared to other tinctures that I have made, that the yield is pretty light. But here we are, the finished product. Medicine from the wild, and ready to be utilized today. I believe if we had a sunny day, we would be able to see some nice color in this. And that is it, folks. Enjoy.